Justice for All says 8:07 p.m. Eastern or Central Standard Time, 87 degrees and 88% humidity. Yeah, it feels pretty awful out there, guys. There's a lot of enthalpy. You ever heard people talk about that? Let's talk about enthalpy, guys. We might as well. That's a great transition right there. It's a word that gets used sometimes, and enthalpy, I think David Richardson talked about it a little bit last time he was on the show. Enthalpy is heat. It's all it is. When we think of heat, we think of a number, like it's 90 degrees outside or 100 degrees outside. And the number we're referring to is sensible heat. It is heat. And then you have latent heat, that mugginess, that humidity, that level of just that water in the air. You have that latent heat too that goes right along with it. When you combine those two together, you get, trying to keep this simple as possible, you get the enthalpy number. You don't multiply or add them together, but taking into account both types of heat, you get a total heat, which is enthalpy. So the interesting thing is, a few years ago, I did a video, and I don't remember what channel or what it was called or anything, but I took some readings from like Las Vegas and compared it to here, like Wilmington, North Carolina, and most of the time we have more heat than they do. Even though the temperature is 110 degrees out there, it's so dry, when you take into account the total heat, we still come out ahead because of all the moisture in the air. So even though it may be cooler as far as sensible heat, it definitely may not feel better than it does when it's 100 degrees outside but very dry. Now, 100 degrees very dry still is hot. What's the old saying? It's like, it's a dry heat, but then they say so is an oven, which is true. It's still hot, but the mugginess and just the relative humidity, which peaks out all summer long in the middle of the night at 100%, because when that sensible heat comes down, the volume that the air takes up, basically, the volume of the air shrinks and shrinks, and the moisture content stays the same. So as the volume of the air shrinks because the temperature is going down, the moisture basically waterlogs the air. Relative humidity gets to 100%. You have dew on the grass. You have condensation everywhere. It's because the air can no longer hold all the water, and when it hits a surface like grass or something like that, it starts to condense on that surface. So that's why we have dew everywhere. If you want to watch more videos just like this one, click on this playlist. And if you want to see a new video you might not have ever seen before, check out this one right down here. And if you want to find out more about the sponsors that make this show possible, you can click on this box right here. And of course, if you aren't subscribed, please click here to do so.